Okay, so this is part 5, and yeah, so far this is where we ended making this fake grass. You can use the particle system to create real grass, but I think this is a much easier way to get grass since this is going to be far away, and the main focus of this scene is not really grass, it's just the house. So yeah, and it's simpler to do it this way than using the grass itself, and it's much faster. So let's continue. So this is how everything looks. I think this, we're still getting a lot of sharp reflections here, so we can reduce that even further, like so. I think this door here can use the wooden, sorry, this gray wall texture. I think it's using the same material here, and for the frames we can use the dark black or dark. We can use black, and we need the glass. So for the glass we can add a new glass material. We can use glass, and so glass in Blender EV is easy. You just increase the transmission, and yeah, that's it. So then you go in the settings here, change the blending mode to adaptive. Give it a moment. Sometimes Blender crashes when you do that, so if it crashes a lot for you, you just have to go to this, how is it called, a solid display mode, and then change the setting there, and then come back to rendered mode. And now we need to assign this glass material to the glass windows. So we just select those, that and that, then assign. Now we have our glasses. So we also need to do this for this door here. Let me isolate this on this side, give it a new material, and assign the glass. And see what we have right now. Let's go back to this material shader so that it's not too bright. Maybe let's change the lighting a bit. I think actually it looks better here. So what else? So let's work on this wooden wooden wall. So for that, again, we just need to UV unwrap. Can use smart UV unwrapping, then find a texture, a wood texture. Let's try using what? So I have, let's try using, I think I can try using this. So new material, we'll call this wood wall, and bring in the color, connect it to the base color. But the UVs are not correctly rotated, so we can go to UV editing, and then go to textured mode, then rotate these UVs 90 degrees. So that is how it's like that, and then we can scale this so that they have the right scale as well, something like that. We can go back to shading, and now we can bring in the others. So we have displacement, can bring that here. Before we do that, let's try using the normal map instead of the displacement. I found that sometimes when you feed the normal map directly into the normal, it works better without using the mapping node in some cases, but today it is not working. Let's try a different, let me see. So it's not working today, but sometimes it works better without the vector mapping. So let's just bring that back in. Vector normal map. Let's change and see. See, it's not working exactly as I hoped it would. So let me just remove this and use the bump map, the displacement map. So I think it is this one here. And connect this to the displacement. But the displacement is too much, so we can, let me see how it looks at a far distance. I think it's still too much, so we can add in our math node, convert math node. Okay. So when you find that Blender crashes when you try to do anything like that, just make sure you are not in these rendered modes. Just do it in solid mode, so that Blender doesn't have to do any calculations while you are making the changes here. So you can add the math node now, and change this to multiply, and this can be point something, 0.1. Now if we go back, I think let's try 0.05. I think that's good enough. Then we can bring in the roughness, which is this one here. Connect that into roughness, which I think is too much, so we can use a color, a convert color ramp, just to have some control over the reflections. So you can see right now it's too sharp, so we can reduce that like that. Like that, and see what we have. Oh, there is a wall here, I think. So we can just, I think it's this wall here, this divider. This here. So we can select that and extend it up above, so we can extrude that up to around there. And maybe extrude it like so as well. Make sure we UV unwrap this again, smart UV. Now if we go back to the texturing, we have but it should have the same material, so select this, give it the same material, so yeah, like that. So this has to have white walls like that, and the roof should have these black walls. Remember to UV unwrap. Also, we need to UV unwrap this using smart projection, and can give it black walls. Now we can also give these black walls for now until we find some texture for it, but we can also select this here and give it white walls. And this is what we have. I think this needs to be a bit darker and more bluish. So we can add some lights inside. So let's add a point light. In every room. To make this easier, I'll just duplicate this using Alt D so that I have instances. And if I want to control the amount of light each light produces, I just have to control to set one light, and that should be the light value produced by every light we have. So I can add a light here and another one here, maybe two in the back there. So they're too bright, so I can change this to about 5 and also make the color bit yellowish like that. And we need to bake the lighting again, so go to indirect lighting, then bake indirect light. You can see how it's calculating everything. So it's done, and this is the house we have so far. Now we also have this shape here. It should have gray walls instead of white walls. So let me see. Is this here? Should be dark black walls like that, and this can get this texture here. So this can get the wood texture like that. I think we're doing good. You can add the curtains if you want. And let's see, what else can we add? You can create this fence here. So I'll go to layout and add the fence. The fence, I don't know if we can, let's just use this here. Shift D. And scale it up a bit so it comes from this here. Maybe scale this like that. bring it down a bit like that. Also duplicate this Alt D to this side, and increase the count this side and push it to the back like that, and maybe Alt D again, rotate Z 90 degrees, push it like that so that it starts from there, and let's do 10, maybe 5, something like that. This needs to extend a bit. I think there's a lot of headroom, so I can rotate this down a bit and then push forward a bit as well. So let's see how this looks. Maybe this grass is too much, so we can come to edit mode, select this entire part, scale it in to around there. So these are repeating too much, I think, but that's okay. If you want, you can apply the array and then add a new texture. Let's do that maybe. So the problem is that they are linked, and when something is linked, you can't really apply the array modifier. So the way to do it is you duplicate that object, maybe hide it, and then delete the one that is linked, and now you can apply the array modifier. Now we can UV unwrap this again and change the material. So if you go to shading, you can select this and duplicate this wall texture and use a different texture. But you can do that if you want. I think it's a lot of work for now. So this is what we have so far. So let's see what else can we do here. Let's try and preview this in cycles and see. So if I go to cycles, I think it actually looks good, so just needs a few changes here and there, but looks good. So you just have to work on the landscaping a bit, and maybe add some of these textures on this side. So let's do that. So around here we can add a loop and a loop here. We need to cut this to go all the way down, and also this to go all the way down. And then we can select these sides, maybe extrude them up a bit like that. But we don't want this to be too sharp, this edge to be too sharp. Can bevel that like that. Then select this side and this side. Increase your selection. So just deselect the areas that you don't want to have grass. And then assign grass to those areas. We need to unwrap this again. Maybe you can also turn on smoothing smooth shading for this as well. We can also make this grass a bit darker. So if we come to the grass material, so this is the color. We can add an RGB curve here. Hope it doesn't crash. Okay. And increase the contrast. Maybe just darken this. So if you want to reduce the dot, we just need to come back to the contrast here. Which one was giving this? I think it's this here. Okay, we'll start from there.